Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris, back from Rome, and a greatly uplifting trip. The highlight of the trip, among many highlights, was being able to sit in on a speech delivered by His Excellency Archbishop Raymond Burke, who now enjoys a great deal of prestige at the Vatican after having been treated quite shabbily by liberal bishops in the United States during his tenures as Bishop of La Crosse, Wisconsin, and St. Louis. Archbishop Burke got the cold shoulder from many of his brother U.S. prelates because of his unswerving loyalty and fidelity to the teaching of the Church, in short, of his loyalty to Christ. He was extremely clear in his pronouncements. Liberal bishops were not. In fact, it is a hallmark of liberals to be vague and dicey with their language when proclaiming the truths of the faith. They like people being confused and unclear about the truth. That's why Archbishop Raymond Burke is quickly becoming the beacon for orthodoxy among bishops. You don't ever walk out of talking with him or listening to a speech by him wondering what the Church teaches. In this particular speech, delivered just beyond the colonnade of St. Peter's Square on a sunny Saturday morning following Mass at St. Mary Major Basilica, His Excellency was abundantly clear. He said both faithful and bishops must be obedient to the magisterium, the teaching of Christ, handed down through the successor of Peter and the bishops in union with him. He said emphatically that when the bishop, he used the word shepherd, is not obedient, the flock easily gives way to confusion and error. Now, I was sitting in the audience when he gave this speech, and the place erupted into applause. It's hard to imagine a more striking image and clear picture of the reality in today's church than what Burke pointed to. The paramount problem in the church today is the unfaithfulness of so many of her bishops entrusted with the care of the flock. And this unfaithfulness manifests itself in many different ways. Some bishops appear to have simply lost the faith. There is simply no way to square the example of a bishop who openly supports homosexuality and who insists that the church is wrong on its teaching, other than to say that he has totally gone off the rails and simply doesn't believe the faith anymore. Archbishop Rembert Weakland, formerly of Milwaukee, comes to mind. He did a great deal of spiritual damage to that archdiocese. But he isn't alone. Former auxiliary bishop of Detroit, Thomas Gumbleton, has made quite the name for himself as well, opposing and condemning the church's moral teaching. Another manner in which episcopal infidelity is manifested is through cowardice. If a bishop truly believes the faith, then a repeated policy of compromise with evil simply would never happen. Yet we have examples, too numerous to count, of this very point repeated over and over and over again among many, not all, bishops in America, Canada, Europe, and Australia. Other bishops have demonstrated their infidelity to Christ by their willingness to engage in internal politics at the expense of the faithful. They promote and coddle heretics and career bureaucrats within their chanceries, whose first concern is not the faith and advancing it, but ensuring that the boat is never rocked. These are scandals that drive people away from the faith and cause a great dispiriting of those who remain. Of scandals, His Excellency also said, and I quote, "One of the ironies of the present situation is that the person who experiences scandal at the gravely sinful public actions of a fellow Catholic is accused of a lack of charity and causing division within the unity of the church," end quote. While he was speaking specifically at the time about opposition to the church's teaching in regard to the sanctity of life, his words are just as true about the grave scandal given by weak or cowardly or heretical or politically minded bishops. In fact, theirs is an even greater scandal because their inaction and betrayal and compromise with the culture is what has prepared the ground for such evils as abortion and same-sex marriage. A Catholic today must understand the lay of the land in the church. There are many good and solid bishops today who not only talk the talk, but walk the walk. Bishops like Robert Vasha in Oregon, Thomas Olmsted in Phoenix, John Neinstedt in Minneapolis-St. Paul, he who is battling the homosexual juggernaut, and so forth. Many fine bishops. These three are by no means all of them. But a litmus test for Catholic laity who are justifiably rightly confused is simply this: Does your bishop do what needs to be done? Are priests who are preaching screwball ideas from the pulpit dealt with quickly? Are the Catholic schools in your diocese truly Catholic? Meaning, are the young men and women coming out of them in love with Jesus Christ, or are they not? Do you see changes? Do you see change to an openness on the part of the bishop to meet with Catholics who are deeply concerned about the dire straits the faith is now in? Or do you get little or no response, see little change, hear a bunch of happy talk and politically correct theological mumbo-jumbo? Bottom line, is Christ announced boldly with absolutely no compromise, or is everything nuanced and couched and soft pedals? And do you hear the word charity being used incessantly to the point of it being false charity? If you shine the spotlight on already existing division in the church and get accused of causing the division, watch out. The role of the church is to get souls to heaven. Period. While that mission can be accomplished in varying ways, depending on the era and the culture and the people and the personalities involved, it is never accomplished by backing away from the truth or burying it under a host of other concerns like tolerance and political correctness. God bless you. I'm Michael Voris.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.